Welcome back everybody to another post commentary duel video, and today we've got a feature match between Fire Fist and Orcust, so should be a pretty interesting matchup. Also, I want to apologize in advance if all the feature matches I had have Orcust in them. That's just kind of how the tournament went. Most of the feature matches I grabbed just had Orcust in them, and a lot of Orcust running around at locals, so not much you can do there. But getting started here with the Fire Formation Ingen to be able to fusion summon for a Fire Fist, and I believe also going to special summon the Panda, and Panda is going to go ahead and revive that bear, I believe, on summon. Now, Fire Fist is a deck that I'm still not familiar with that much. I remember the last time I had to do a commentary for this duel that I featured Fire Fist. It was a rough bit of commentary because I had to stop every now and then and look to see what everything did, because I had no idea what any of the cards do and still don't have the best idea. But he's going to go for Rooster here. He's going to use it to bounce back the Fire Formation on the field to be able to Foolish Burial a Fire Fist monster, I believe. Of course, Eagle being infamous for being the card that allows you to not have to pay cost for your Fire Formation. So very, very strong card for the deck. So not going to have to pay cost there for, I believe, the Buffalo that he sent to the grave. And then also going to use the Fire Fist Tiger King to search a Fire Formation, set it direct from his deck rather, and go ahead and grab that Tanky. And then he's going to normal summon Dragon. And again, not having to pay cost because of Eagle. Dragon is going to allow him to, would normally have to send 2 Fire Formation spells or traps to the grave to be able to reborn a Fire Fist, but again, he does not have to pay the cost, so he'll reborn the Swan, I believe, the Fusion, bring that back to the field. It was already properly Fusion summoned, so can bring that back no problem. And he's going to pass it over to the Orcust player now. One thing you guys have noticed, the little blue diamond on the bottom next to the Games Won things on the overlay, that will represent the turn player going forward. I just wanted something that would make it easy for you guys to see who the turn player is. Because I know sometimes with it being sped up, there being no audio, if some people don't watch the audio for some reason, then, you know, they can at least understand whose turn it is with, you know, no extra context. So, yeah, Twin Twister will go through, clearing the, at least forcing the Fire Formation Sinto, I believe, which will negate the spell or trap effect. Does not destroy it, but it's Twin Twister, so it doesn't matter. Foolish Burial and Armageddonite, signaling a pretty strong turn here for Orcust. Going to go right into Galatea. Now, I believe he's a little bit of tunnel vision going on here from the Orcust player. He is a very good player without a doubt, but I believe he's going for the Boral Sword OTK right now, which honestly I don't blame him. It's something I would do too. Looking at a field like this right here, it doesn't look too threatening. Really no interaction other than the Swan, which will act as sort of a interruption. Only during the battle phase, though, so not too big of a deal to be worried about at all if you're playing Orcust right now, especially if Dingirsu is a card as well. So he's going to use Orcust Nightmare to dump the Gizmek Orochi to the graveyard. That'll boost Galatea by 800 attack. Won't matter, though, because it probably won't be on the field much longer. World 1 will go ahead and banish to summon out the Harp Horror from the banishment zone. And he's going to use Galatea to go ahead and shuffle back a Banished Machine and get Orchestrated Return, ditching that Harp Horror out of his hand to draw 2. Draws into the Babel, so what a draw there. Orchestrated Return becoming more and more of a staple in Orcust decks, and I'm really happy to see that because it's just a fantastic card. It was out of the gate and still is. It's an absolutely amazing card all around. So we're going to go into Link 4 here with the Orochi, Harp, and the that Galatea for Boral Sword. Symbol Skeleton's going to revive out the Galatea, as you might expect. And going to go ahead and overlay the Dingirsu on top. Now he has 2 options to either attach a material to it or just send anything. Of course, does not target. So what is the biggest threat to him right now? You might say the Swan. Well, it's not really that big of a threat because if he tries to destroy something with Swan, he can just detach to save it. And everything on his field is boosted by 100 attack right now. So he'll take less damage than he would have otherwise, I guess, for the most part. So yeah, he's going to go into battle phase here momentarily, I assume, checking the Boral Sword there. Going to use Swan now, actually, to destroy. We'll have to send the Fire Formation spell. He does have to pay cost here. So Won't be gaining any 100 attack boost here. So Borosword will run that over for 3k. Swan tries to destroy, but Galatea protects. Or not Galatea, but Dingirsu will protect. So we'll swing over for 3k, boosting that Borosword up by quite a bit, attacking over the dragon. And then Borosword will make its second attack to destroy the copy of the Fire Fist Tiger King. Now our Fire Fist player here is in a top decking position. Yeah, he has one card left in hand, and I believe it might be like Dome, which is not the best card to have in hand right now when you're staring down a Borosword and Dingirsu with a Babble up, 2 cards in your opponent's hand. And it's either Ingen or I think it's Ingen in his hand, not Dome. I believe that is the Fusion. Yeah, the Fusion, which is Ingen. And he top decks the Raven, which he's going to link off into Almirage to trigger its effect immediately to search any or set any Fire Formation spell or trap directly from his deck. So he's going to set the Dome, I believe. I believe that one has some recursion in the graveyard. If it's sent, yeah, you can target a Fire Fist monster in your graveyard, special summon it if it's sent from the spell and trap zone to the graveyard. So, going to be a pretty good card to grab there. Almirage giving Fire Fist very easy access to, you know, resolve Raven's effect like that. Going to go ahead and use Buffalo now in grave to send those 2 Fire Formation spells to the grave. And he'll be able to add one back off of Ingen and special one because of Dome, allowing him to Ixie summon with the dragon and the Buffalo there into a copy of the Tiger King. The Tiger King on summon will be able to set a Fire Formation spell or trap. He's going to go for the Tanky, of course, making a really strong comeback here as of right now. And on that Tanky, he's going to summon out the Panda, and Panda will reborn one from grave, and it looks like he's looking at Bear as a possible summon, but looks like he's going to go for Raven, rather. And now deciding to use the detach effect of the Tiger King, which of course is a skill drain for all non-beast warriors. So the Borosword will have to chain here, or else he'll not be able to use the effect for the rest of the turn. And so it is negated, and it will have the defense ability go through though on the Panda. Might as well turn something to defense. Dingirsu also negated though right now, doesn't make too big of a difference. And going into another copy of Eagle here, and the Tensu allowing for an additional normal summon for what looks like to be Dragon. And again, would have to send 2 Fire Formation spells or traps to the grave to be able to reborn a Fire Fist. But again, no paying cost here, so he's just going to go for Bear. He could use the Bear Tanky Pop, the classic, and he will. So Bear will pop without having to send Tanky or any Fire Formation spell or trap that is. And going to go for Cardinal now. Cardinal, a very scary card to say the least. This card basically says you can attach 2 Ixie materials from this card, and then target 2 Fire Formation or Fire Fist / Fire Formation cards in your graveyard and face up on the field, and 2 cards in your opponent's graveyard and or face up on their field, and shuffle those targets into the deck. So, very, very strong card. Does not target either, because it says and 2 cards. Then target up to 2 Fire Formation cards in your graveyard and or face up in the field, and then 2 cards in your opponent's graveyard. So I'm assuming it actually does target. It is worded interestingly. But he's going to go ahead and recycle the Dome, what looks like to be, and the Ritual, or no, another Eagle. And they had a bit of a ruling question here, so I had to ask a judge, since the Orcust player wanted to chain Gizmek to this effect. He wanted to know if he would summon it out of grave, if it would still get shuffled back, and he's also going to chain Harp Horror. So it would be Chainlink 1 Cardinal, Chainlink 2 Gizmek, Chainlink 3 Harp Horror. Harp Horror going to summon Nightmare, and Gizmek will summon itself. Now, he did target Gizmek and the Babble. So you want to know that even if it changed, you know, places, this Gizmek, if it would still get shuffled back. And it was ruled that it would. So that is how that went. So the Gizmek still getting shuffled back. The Orcust player was unaware how the interaction worked, but still wanted to chain regardless, and didn't want to wait for the judge to the judge wasn't going to tell him until like he made the decision, because he didn't want to alter what decision he made based on knowledge he didn't already have, etc., etc. So he's going to link those off into Peacock, which I believe is like a Snatch Steal or a Borreload, When this card declares an attack, you can send one face-up fire formation spell or trap you control to the graveyard, then target one monster your opponent controls, place that opponent's monster zone this card points to, and take control of it until the end of the phase. But it cannot declare an attack this turn. So a couple of things that shouldn't be able to happen here. First of all, a lot of people forget the first line of text on Orcust Nightmare, which says it can't be destroyed by battle. So technically, you shouldn't be able to run it over with anything on his field right now. The Boral Sword should not be able to attack. But it doesn't matter. The Fire Fist player is scooping anyways because he just did not have enough to do game regardless, and Orcust was going to come back full force next turn anyways. So Orcust taking the game there despite some make-believe plays that were happening. Just doesn't matter. We're going to head into game 2 though here. Fire Fist opting to go first, opening pretty strong, opening the Raven to link into Almirage to grab Tanky and to summon out, I believe, what Fire Fist monster is that? The Elephant. And I believe Buffalo also hitting the field. Again, I'm still learning all of these cards, so I do apologize if I don't have everything entirely correct. But again, the Eagle now activating its effect to go ahead and bounce back that fire formation to send somebody to the graveyard. Panda will hit the board and reviving Rooster as a result. It's a very strong board, looking so like very strong board so far. Coming out of the gates, pretty powerful, all just because of that simple Raven into Almirage, and that Rooster looks like it's going to add him that Dragon. And again, Dragon would prove to be very powerful here because he does have Eagle up, he does have targets in grave, and he's going to go ahead and get the not the InGen, but the field spell set from his deck, the Liang Peak, and he will normal Dragon. That's going to gain a counter for every time a fire formation or a Fire Fist monster is normal or special summoned. So the counters are going to start racking up here as he goes ahead and proceeds through the rest of his combo. So Dragon will give it a counter, and then he's going to use the effect of Dragon. He will not have to pay cost because of Eagle, his inherent effect. And then going to summon out Raven from the graveyard, putting a second counter. You can use that first effect of Liang Peak now, which he can basically make it so it can't activate any effects when Beast Warrior monsters attack this turn, but it's turn 1, so not too useful there. Going to link into Peacock now, and that will give it a third counter. I believe he would be able to use the effect of Raven here, since the Raven is not hard once per turn. And if it's sent to the graveyard, I believe you can just set any fire formation spell or trap from the deck immediately. So very, very strong card. So going to set the InGen, which again is the fusion summon spell, which would be nice to get Swan on board because that battle phase protection is pretty nice. Now ideally he'd be able to get the ritual on board as well, but I don't know if he has the resources to do it with the given hand and cards that he has, or started with rather. We're going to play InGen regardless here, and going to fusion summon. He did open the ritual, so he's going to fuse away the ritual and the one other card on this field. I believe it was the Peacock, and that will put Swan on board, and he's going to go ahead and set a fire formation spell or trap from his deck because I believe Dragon's effect is activating. So he'll set the Sinto, which will be a spell trap negate. And again, Orcust player opening up Twin Twister, immediately playing it. Now Panda does offer protection for Fire Fist, but does not protect Fire Fist spells or traps, I believe. Yeah, so Panda only protects Fire Fist monsters from destruction by battle. No, just by card effect, not even by battle. So just protects from card effect. So Twin Twister will go through. It's going to force the Sinto. He has to activate it there. Doesn't want to lose the field spell with those counters on it. So he'll normal the Harp Horror, and then he'll get Mothman on the board. The danger effect resolving here. Not getting sniped out of his hand, luckily enough for him. But has a loaded graveyard right now of Nightmare and Harp Horror, so in a pretty good position here. Now, again, we could see a similar thing happen here, where he tries to go for the OTK, Boral Sword shows up, Dingirsu shows up, and it might not be enough. We saw what happened last time. It wasn't enough. The Fire Fist player did make a massive comeback, but it just wasn't enough. And he did top deck really well. He top decked Raven. I believe the Fire Fist player only having 1 card in hand right now. So it is very easy to win this game right now if you're Orcust, but you just want to make sure you do it in the right way to prevent any comebacks, unforeseen comebacks that could happen. So linking into Orcustrion, which if it is linked, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect. So completely safe from Swan here. And it'll bring back the Galatea off symbol. And it looks like we might see a danger play because he was debating on setting a card but put it back into his hand. And I believe he does have a danger play here to make. Also debating on whether or not he wants to just go right into Girsu right now, or if he wants to get long Girsu out on the board as extra benefit, because he does have 2 Banished Machines right now. Not enough to use the, not the Girsu, but the Crustrion, because he does not have 3 Banished Machines. So checking the field spell now, which I believe has 6 counters, maybe 4 or 6 counters. 4 counters, I believe. So he'd be able to use the other effect of that field spell during his turn. But again, the only thing you have to worry about right now is the fact that his Fire Fist monsters cannot be destroyed by card effect, and then he has that battle phase effect of Swan. So he will use Sneck, so he's going to set a card. Sneck will go through regardless, get a summon to be able to go into Long Girsu. He'll use Long Girsu here to send any linked card on the field to the graveyard. And he will send Swan, so that battle phase threat is gone. And then he's going to flip up a Rhoda to go ahead and grab Armageddon Knight, which will be a very good follow-up for next turn. And now we'll see Dingirsu going over top of the Long Girsu. And he'll be able to send a card. He's going to send the Panda to the graveyard. And then we're going to go into battle phase here. And he's going to run over the Swan, or the Eagle, which is boosted by only 100 right now, because Tensu is the only thing on his field that is giving him an attack boost. So both players shuffling and cutting their respective decks, and then we'll pass it over to the Fire Fist player. And he top decks the nuts again. Top decking the Fire Formation. Tanky this time. It was Raven game 1. Tanky this time around. He's going to go right for Dragon. And he's still got 4 counters on this field spell. Could possibly see a very strong push from Fire Fist this turn. So he's going to send the InGen and the Tanky to the grave to go ahead and reborn any Fire Fist out of his graveyard. Been given another opportunity here to be able to have a massive comeback. So InGen will add Panda back, and the Dragon will revive Raven out of grave. So he could link off into Almirage here if he wanted to. Again, I don't know if he plays multiple Almirage, because I believe we already saw Almirage this game, but I could be wrong. Maybe we didn't. I don't know. But has plenty of options here regardless. There's another Tensu. Gonna give the counter for the additional Raven, and then 2 more counters gonna be added here. Panda being summoned on that Tensu, and then Panda summoning another dragon from grave. So I believe 8 or 7 counters on this field spell now. Going into Cardinal, absolutely exceptional card right here. Does not care about Dingirsu's protection effect. Does not care about Orcustrion's effect. Now, you could be a savage and just spin both those monsters on his field back to the deck, but you've got to worry about that field spell. That field spell is a huge pain to deal with. So he's going to target Babel, and he's going to target Orcustrion. So he's going to do some chain links here. Going to do Harp Horror and going to do Orcust Nightmare to be able to dump Gizmek and special summon a respective Nightmare from the deck. So Babel will get shuffled back, and the Orcustrion will get shuffled back as well. So clearing some big threats here. Orcustrion, I think, is your biggest worry because that's a card you don't want to become live. A quick play skill drain, and also drop to 0 attack and defense. Pretty powerful card. So he's going to play Dome here. Which will allow for, I believe, a ritual. I believe that is the ritual spell, but also has other uses. So we'll see the Buffalo getting dumped to the grave and the Sinto being added to hand. Buffalo activating its effect, sending some Fire Formation spells. Going to want to actually pay cost this time, so he can use the effect of the Dome to revive Dragon. Again, just racking up counters. I believe there's 10 counters on that field spell. He could also use the effect to remove 6 now to add a Beast Warrior from deck to hand. So just a generic search here would be absolutely amazing. So he's going to revive the Swan off of the Dragon and go into another Tiger King here. So we can turn off the effects of the Nightmare and turn off the effect of Dingirsu. So that pesky can't be destroyed by battle by a Link monster effect might not even come up here because it is simply negated. He's going to detach the Buffalo. And also getting, I believe, Yugioh, the Fire Formation spell, back to his set zone there. His spell trap zone. And then going to use it, which basically says you can target one face-up card your opponent controls, discard a Beast Warrior type, and if you do, destroy that card. So he will pay cost there. He'll destroy the Dingirsu, can't save it because, well, its effects are negated. And then we'll see Panda running over the Nightmare, since everything is boosted by 200. So swinging for 28 with the Swan. And then he'll try to block the next attack with Gizmek, but it's still in battle phase, so Swan can destroy the Gizmek. And then he'll take 19 and 24 respectively from the Eagle and the Tiger King. Because again, Tensu and Yugioh boosting everything by 200. I believe the only Fire Formation spells that boost are the OG ones. All the newer ones I don't believe give attack boost. So both players wanting to check life right now because it was getting very, very close to time. They did get a 1-minute extension for that ruling they had about Cardinal and whether or not if he chained Gizmek, it would get shuffled back still if it was no longer in the place it was originally targeted in. So they're both checking life points, making sure everything was set because time was literally about to be called. And the Fire Fist player would win, resulting in a draw. Again, like I said, in the last duel video, so many draws happening like out of nowhere. I don't think I've ever recorded this many draws in a single day in a single tournament, like ever. But, you know, the time rules are the time rules. It is what it is. The Orcust player thinking frantically right now, what can he do to possibly overcome this massive life point gap that has been created? Of course, he does have Armageddon Knight as a follow-up. He does have access to Gizmek Orochi still. He accidentally leaves it in his banish pile. He'll correct that momentarily. And I actually was the person that counted down there. I had a timer set for when the official clock ran out. They had an extra minute to be able to make plays. And I just don't think he could get it done here. Although he does have Orcustrion is no longer in his graveyard because it was shuffled back by Cardinal. If Orcustrion was still in his grave, I would say this game might be over because he could possibly get way more banished machines, you know, enough to equal 3 to be able to drop all linked monsters on the field down to 0 attack and negate their effects, be able to push for tons of damage with Orcustrion and Galatea, which would be 48, which would drop his opponent down to 7, which would result in him winning the game in time, taking the match 2-0, but that Cardinal coming in so clutch, shuffling back that Orcustrion into the extra deck, and man, oh man, is it going to make it very, very hard, if not impossible. And there's the handshake. So Fire Fist will take game 2, and the game is called in time, so they're just going to roll for game 3. And I believe the Orcust player wins the dice roll, taking the match itself because of the dice roll. Yeah, hate to see it, but they didn't want to draw, so they both agreed to a dice roll and to see who would take the match. And both players in agreement, and Orcust winning the dice roll because they couldn't play out of game 3. Anyways, so hope you guys enjoyed this match. Sorry that it ended up coming down to a dice roll decision and in time there, but it is what it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out Imperium Duelist, and if you're buying anything off TCG Player, don't forget to use my affiliate link down in the description below, because anything you buy using that link, as long as you stay within that tab using that link, I'll receive a small portion of the revenue from your purchase, so it helps support me a lot. It would be greatly appreciated if you guys use my Imperium code, checking things out on their website, and of course the TCG link. Hope you guys enjoyed. Huge shout outs to all my Discord members, active Discord members, and Twitch subs. Another way you can support the channel is by subscribing on Twitch, so feel free to do that if you want. And yeah, hope you guys having a good one. As always, Winner Kill signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one.